today's Illuminate session where we have special guest Ineke Geelen joining us.
Hey,
Ineke,
lovely. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Thank you. Very
Ineke
good.
is a highly experienced and certified healer and coach for highly sensitive and empathic women. She specializes in helping others overcome pain and struggle, navigate the transitions and challenges of life, from personal and professional growth to relationships and self-care. Ineke has a passion for helping you live your best life and reach your full potential. She is committed and devoted to creating a supportive and encouraging environment for her clients and offering them the tools and resources that they need to succeed. So, welcome, Ineke, and I'm so excited to have you on here today with us. And I know I skipped out on a big part of your bio, and it's because that part of your bio was actually so exciting to me as I was reading it. So, I would love for you to share with us kind of what was this journey from childhood into adulthood and where you are now.
Yeah, it's also a very amazing discovery for me to find out after all that I've done that I'm still having my passion and actually really successful at it. So when I was little, when I was born, nature was my thing, and it was the only place I really felt safe and connected. And I believe a lot of light workers or people with highly sensitive senses or empathic beings have this, right? We have this connection to nature that's very profound. And for me, it went that deep that my entire family knew I was going to become a vet or some other animal protector. And I actually pursued that as well with my heart and soul. So I felt there was so much injustice. There was so much things going on. It was just not right. The way people were treating nature, animals, plants, there was something that didn't make any sense. Whilst when I was in nature, I just felt home. And I knew that we could always fall back on nature. It's like this place where you can reconnect to who you are. I couldn't explain at the time when I was little, but I just had that thing. So I went with my life to help nature, right? So I sacrificed everything basically, partners, even possible children or buying a house, that normal path. I just left it behind. And I just went for studies in Africa. I traveled the world on my own to look at natural beauty, but as well discover different cultures and their perspective on conservation. How were they treating nature and how was it really life, not what you see on the screen through WWF programs or Greenpeace presentations. It was good to go and have a look. And I really knew I had to save nature. There was something inside of me. I had to do this. So it was easy for me to follow this path. But I knew down the line that I wasn't on the right track because imagine trying to fight money and power. When I, for example, was in Africa for 4 years, um, I did a year at the university to do wildlife management, and then I went to Zambia to study wildlife impact assessment. The hippos, amazing creatures in the Luangwa Valley. But I basically gonna have to pay the authorities to do the study. Or I also knew my studies were gonna not gonna make any difference because whatever brought in money for them, they would do. Was it even supplying coaching? They would illegally. And that you could see all around the world. Even when I was traveling the world, people just go for money. And if they can earn money, they will just throw their bins in the water or their trash on the streets to make it easier or better to earn that money. So money and power was always that thing you had to fight.
Yeah.
And the amount of corruption I experienced in Africa was for me heartbreaking. After 4 years of trying, I came back and I was heartbroken. I was like, my dream is impossible.
Mm.
It's not possible. And I knew there were keys to find, but at that time I had 30 years, I had fought for this, right?
Yeah.
I had worked my ass off to pay for studies, to go for it. I did wildlife filmmaking courses. I spent time in Panama reintroducing monkeys into the wild. I really went for it, but it felt like, yeah, you're hitting a wall. It's
Yeah.
like impossible. How are you going to fight money and power?
Yeah.
I was never going to be able to make money enough as a conservationist to buy the world and say we're doing it differently today.
Yeah.
That would be, in a way, doing the same as they are doing. You hear me? Because I would start saying how we should live.
Mm.
What I've discovered when I came back, heartbroken, totally fell apart, is that I had to go within and beat this delusion of fighting something that is impossible to fight. And that's where my coaching and my healing and this journey, this inner journey, I did all that traveling around the world, and now it was time to travel inside. And
Mm.
the reason why I was so connected to nature was because my background is bad, the way I was raised, the way I was rejected by my parents as from 13, 14 years old. I really went through hard times in my youth, in my upbringing, and it was the only thing that made sense and that was positive. But I had to go and deal with that. And now I do this work for others. And imagine what you're doing is bringing people back to their true nature. And the moment you reconnect to the real you, the true you, that we are everything already and connected to everything already, and helping people right now, still one on ones, bringing them there, they have a totally different perspective on money, on power, and of course, their relation with nature.
Yeah.
They will stop fighting other people that are mistreating animals, what we all would do in the beginning. But what we fight, we nurture.
Mm.
It's about helping people to remember that hurting the animal is not who they are.
Yeah.
Um, that the fear that's underneath that action, or that the need for control underneath that action, or that there's so much more. They don't feel safe. They feel out of alignment. They feel out of trust. They don't know who they are. And those people hurt. Those people destroy. Those people don't care.
Yeah.
So people back in their true nature, they care because they know they are the love. They know they are capable of anything. We have so much power. We have
Yeah.
so much power in all of us. And we forgot that. And it's okay, because look at where we come from, right? I mean, look at where I come from. So we don't remember. And now we can remember, because, like in your other beautiful interviews, they all have that common. We are shifting. We are
Yes.
shifting into an awakening. And that awakening is this, remembering who you truly are,
Yeah.
expressing your unique gifts, because we are nature. We would not
Yes.
have this body if there was no nature. How
Yeah.
miraculous is that?
Right.
And a lion in nature doesn't fear his hunt.
Yeah.
Yet we fear our gifts.
Mm. Yeah.
It's like when you look at nature, they don't feel like we fear.
Yeah.
They fear, of course, danger, and that's a natural fear. Fear belongs within our scope of being natural beings. But the fear that is holding us from our true nature is not a natural fear. It's a programmed fear. It's codings, it's programming. And that's why I want to explain the structure of this.
Yeah. Yeah. I would love to
Yeah.
hear what you mean by the structure of nature and how that applies to us.
Well, living your true nature is a structural thing, because we are beings of pure creative energy. We are energy beings. We
Yeah.
all agree. I think that the audience you have also agrees with this. We are energy. Everything is energy. When we, for example, use ayahuasca, we get to see that we are connected to everything through energy. There is no thing. So when we are born and before we are becoming a human, we are everything. We are just this light, and we have everything and we are everything. Then we are born into this beautiful, tiny little baby body. First, of course, the whole process in the belly. But we have to learn that we are separate. When we are born, we have to go through the individuation process. We have to learn we are limited and that we are living in a human body, and not everything just, love doesn't always just is there, or that's what we learn. We have to be nice in order to receive gratitude. We have to do our best in order to receive love. We have to not be naughty in order to not receive punishment. Everything becomes very conditional, the
Yeah.
polarity. And it's a very normal and natural process to endure. Creates deep trauma in all of us. It's a painful process, but it's that painful process that helps us at a later stage to become one again with everything. Now, the problem is that this was discovered a long time ago, and the secret of enlightenment was also kept from a lot of people because there were these, I believe, people that wanted to control everyone. They wanted to prevent chaos. So they started programming people more and more. Religion did. Let's not go too much into the history of all of this. What I want to come down to is that when we are small, we get this idea of this is who we are through our parents, our ancestral lines, cultural, society, and all this coding, all this information becomes you, your identity. Your identity is defined out of 1,000 parts. The part that wants something, the part that hides for something. There's all these parts. If we continue in life this way, and we create our life from this, we will always create from fear,
Yeah.
because it's not connected to the truth of who we are. It's connected to the coding. It's connected to the limitation. It's connected to a place of where we are learned that we have to do something to be. We
Mhm.
have to become something in order to receive. And if we are pure creative beings, pure creative essence, and we create from a place of lack, of not being it in the now, then it will never allow you to create it. So
Yeah.
you're basically working against the power of structure.
Yeah.
Energy has integrity, and energy always flows in the path of least resistance. So if you in the now are saying, if I have more money, I will be able to this and be that, and most people think they will be more happy and more peaceful. Well, guess what? If that's the premise you make, your entire unconscious and conscious mind will sabotage it. Whatever you try and do, how hard you do, how many courses you follow, it doesn't matter, because it comes from a place that you feel that you are not yet happy. And
Yeah.
it's a belief, it's a condition, it's a code. And if you come from lack, you create lack. You cannot grow a forest of abundance with a seed of scarcity.
Mm.
So structure in this layer will never allow you to manifest. Never,
Yeah.
never, never. But it's also not what you want, or it is what you want, but from a place of the mind and the unconscious mind.
Yeah.
So reconnecting to your true self, your true nature, being it, remembering it. And this is the hard part. This is the hard part, because as long as you think from those programs, you don't really see it. It's
Mm.
hard to make that shift. You agree? It's hard to make that shift.
It's hard to understand that it's even programs that are running in the first place. But once you start to detach from some of those identities, because sometimes we hold on to those identities so tightly because it's who we think we are. And to let go of those identities does feel like a death of the self. because we're literally letting go of an identity that we don't even want to identify with. So it really is a whole process of undoing and unlearning. And I love that you use the term remember, because it's like we're remembering, so re-bringing back these true parts of ourselves, allowing those to be revealed. And that in itself is a whole other process after the undoing. Then it becomes about remembering and really holding that solid in showing up in the world again.
Yes. And I feel the best way to go for it, if you really want this, if you really want to step out of the program stuff, step out of the rat race where you're constantly creating what you think you need, but you don't, is to do both at the same time.
Yeah.
So do the powerful process of remembering who you truly are. And I have this really worked out in my program as well, but I can already give something today that will really help anyone that's watching. Or it's basically remembering that you have different consciousness, different levels of consciousness. There's the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind is very powerful. It's 95% of the actual mind. The conscious mind is just 5%. And then we call the other higher self, super conscious, the divine self, source. You can choose whatever you want to name it. But it's only from that place that you can reprogram everything. So how do we reconnect to that true self? How do we do that? Well, go in nature. Go in nature. Use your presence. Go into your body. Surrender. Feel everything. And even if there is already some disturbance, just, choose to connect. Choose to connect to your higher self. This doesn't work the first time, go again. Go again. It will work. The whole veil is so thin at the moment. It's basically easier than 5 years ago to connect
Yeah.
to that all beyond source of wisdom and all knowingness. It's amazing. And then remember that if you can step into a feeling, can step into I would call it another surrendering process, that you can imagine as if it is your reality, that you have everything already right now within you.
Yeah.
Like, step into this vision for yourself. I don't need any more money. Everything is free, or everything is sorted. I have enough money in my bank account to pay for everything I will ever need to survive. Just, to help that mind hack to not step in, yeah, but money, or yeah, but what if? And imagine you have everything already. Everything is there. You're never going to need to prove yourself anymore. You're never going to have to feel you need to doubt yourself anymore. You can skip all that. There's beautiful meditations for this process, by the way. You get into your land of plenty, and anything you can create just because you love it, just because it's what you wanted to, then you get to your choices. These are choices that come from love, from unlimited potential, from, yeah, the all. And it is you. You have that unique gift to bring that what you love to this place, to this plane. And having those choices clear for yourself is the magnet you need to then use all the rest of our learnings to create it into reality. Everything is created twice, right? First in our imagination and then into reality. But the secret sauce of this whole process, what's really going to create momentum, is remembering that you are nature. You have all the power already within you. You have all you need within you. And you have to learn to remember that feeling of, I can choose just to create what I love. Connecting to those choices is
Yeah.
going to rise you above those fear programs, those conditioned choices, because we do still so much like, I need to do this because, or I will choose this. Oh, I want to create so much money. Why? Why do you want to create money? And then you go deeper. What's the money for? Ah, then I will be peaceful. Ah, so you choose the end result of feeling peaceful. So imagine you feel peaceful. Imagine you feel connected with inner peace and outer beauty. Look at the waterfalls, look at the trees. About letting go, like you said, it's hard to let go. This is the program. Trees, their most beautiful and precious creation, they let it go every year.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
leaves fall every year. It's their crown.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they make even better leaves next year.
Yeah. And
So
possibly
yeah,
plant some new trees at the same time.
yeah, yeah, we can do so much. We can
Yeah.
do so much.
And so, with this process of letting go, because I can hear some clients that I've dealt with and stuff where I get a lot of the yeah, buts. So, there's this part of them that's wanting to hold on to what has been. And so, what advice would you give to people? Because I know you've surrendered a lot. I know I've surrendered a lot, but I chose the path of surrendering that was kind of like hold on with both hands and go, I'm surrendering, and then finally letting go when my hands got too sore from holding on. Um, so what advice do you have for people in that surrendering process?
Yeah. As gentle and compassionate and loving as you can. Don't force this. You can't like force yourself into surrendering. And it's basically loving self-inquiry. I find a very powerful process because it's just really gentle questions. You go and lie in nature, for example, and a coach and a healer can really help with that. Of course, it's in the beginning hard to do this on your own, but ask yourself the why questions. So to dig deeper, like what happens if you let go, or um, there's often a hidden reason, and the more loving you are in going back into the why of that reason, the more easy it becomes to look it right as if it is a baby of yourself. It's often just a baby of yourself, right? It's often a part of you that has endured such a massive shock, a pain, a mistreatment. I mean, the traumas are huge that people carry. So, um, in a loving, compassionate way, talking with them is to me the only way to truly surrender. It's um, you can't just do this with the mind. This is an unconscious process as much as it is a conscious process, and it's guided by divine love. And but people that are struggling to let go, compassionate self-inquiry
Yeah.
is the best thing you can start doing. And if it's really still hidden for you, connect to a beautiful coach like Catherine. You can always reach out to me, and there's many more of our beautiful sisters family are very good in helping you going, dig deep, and clear that holding.
Yeah.
Um, it's gonna reveal us why, and it's often so touching to
Yeah.
understand why we're holding on to it. It's not something we can think of. We hide those things in our
I
unconscious mind. Yeah.
I think that's such a beautiful explanation of it, and such it feels much easier to go in that way than just trying to figure it out here.
Yeah. It's fighting again.
Yeah.
And fighting, whatever you do, either you might see it and then almost give it a fire like and then it's never gonna heal. And you might create another part which is then not really serving the coming together of the parts in you, because when you're having a hard time to trust yourself, it's because you're out of alignment with your parts. They're internally fighting each other
Yeah.
and creating this yeah, but yes, and but no. And they both hold wisdom and information, and they both are part of one. But to bring them back together, you can't fight the fight. We
Yeah.
can't fight the negativity. It's compassioning out negativity, it's transmuting negativity into positivity through love. Nature is love, and nature is very harsh, but it's still love.
Yeah.
And I don't see a lion having inner fights or a zebra.
Yeah. And I
So,
think kind of using the example of nature too, like there really is nothing in nature that's actually negative.
no.
Even the shit, that you might find on a path is a part of nature and it will return into that oneness. And no, you don't want to step in it, but it's still a part of nature. It's still a part of the whole cycle. Um, and so to me, it's understanding as well that the idea that our mind puts on things of this is positive and this is negative. Sadness is not good, happiness is great, but it's like this is all a part of it, just like the rain is just as needed as what the sunshine is. We need all of it in order to experience this world.
Oh, I love having broken the program of not liking being in rain.
Yeah.
I actually I think in Africa in one rainy season, and it rained and it poured, and I was filming and working, and it was so beautiful, and I was like already experiencing the beauty of rain or storms, or it's like these programs, like stepping in shit. Oh, we have to clean the boots, and then we have to do that, and smelly, and then the programs even make you almost vomit when you're like cleaning the boot. Whilst we have it in our intestines, and
Yeah.
it's part of us, and it's what nature needs. And yeah, so it's obvious that when you're really reconnecting to the truth of you, choosing healthy foods that really align with your body becomes natural. It's no more, I have to meditate, I have to eat healthy, I have to, all these I have to do so then I can be enlightened. It does not work that way. It does not work that way because you're again doing in order to be. So you're
Mm,
fighting this idea that you're not yet enlightened. We are already enlightened. We're just um, lost through the coding. We're disconnected from it, and there's a lot of programming keeping us from remembering it.
yeah.
Um, yeah, that's what it comes down to. So the moment that you start first, I feel this is the most important part, is making the shift. Oh yeah, I am the predominant creator of my reality. It's me. My reality is a reflection of who I am inside. And so if I'm not happy, then something within me is not in harmony.
Yeah.
So by taking then the internal steps, I find this very empowering. I find this a lot more empowering than thinking, oh, I have to do that course and that course and that course. So I figure this out. No, it's already within me. I don't need to do any courses. But I do need to remember is how. How do I reconnect to that? And how do I let go of all the rest?
Yes.
And that's what we are teaching now in massive ways, right? Everybody's putting their efforts into this awakening process, helping people to remember. Yeah. Did I answer your question or did I get lost?
Yeah. I think you answered the question.
Yes. There's so much to say that, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
And,
like,
and I
well,
love that you keep saying, you don't need all of this external stuff in order to just be, because a tree does not need to take a course to understand how to be the best tree it can be. It just shows up as a tree and it does what its function is in this world, and it does it perfectly,
yeah.
and we
So
all have that ability.
we do. And what I love so much, and it's a society or at least a culture that's not so much more. It's coming back a bit, but the Native Americans and I think other tribes still do it as well. It's like their youth gets to live amongst them and learn from them as they go. They are really like, taken care of by everyone, and they get to choose what they want to learn. And therefore, that freedom that they have to develop themselves gives them already a very good foundation of what's inside of me, what's guiding me to do something,
Mm,
what's coming from within that I actually want to learn. That's already completely disrupted in our culture. But then when they become adults, young adults, they are set out on vision quests. They are set out on ceremonies where they need to go and sit in nature, no food, no water, for days, and connect to their spirits
yeah.
and get their information from what is their mission? What is my purpose here? What is the power I can bring to my tribe?
Yeah.
And they learn their kids before becoming proper adults how to listen to their creative spirits, how to know what their gifts are, and then they all help them make it real. I
Yeah.
find that, and that's a big part where I feel like, um, yeah, we are really hurting our community the way we are doing things.
Hmm.
But it's also not to worry because it's gonna shift.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to go into, oh, it's not good, because there I go judging it or putting a label on it. I agree it's wrong, but like I'm in Portugal now and I'm sending my kid to school in Portugal. So
Yeah.
I'm not resisting it. I'm not fighting it. I am working with what there is, holding the truth and giving that as I am to my son,
Yeah.
and then still allowing him to experience life how it is around us. Because if I go and fight everything that's not right, I'm not going to end up in a happy energy.
Yeah.
It's knowing you can create a life you love and that you have a voice inside of you that speaks your truth. Learn to listen to it again, trust it, and if you get resistance, clear it from
Yeah.
your divine self.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful. I'm going to cycle back to what you were saying about Indigenous people, because I actually read about a tribe that when a young girl gets her first menstrual cycle, they send her out on her own quest. And it's about her discovering who she is and what kind of woman she wants to be in the world, and using the pain of that cycle to help guide her in moving those energies and whatnot. And since reading that, I've done that on my own monthly cycle of using it as a time to go within and discover what is now wanting to be released. How am I showing up in alignment as who I am as a woman? And how do I want to shift during this next cycle? And it's such a sacred way of reconnecting with your body and knowing that it's kind of like on this monthly cycle. It's going to keep showing up every month. So I might as well use it for my own benefit and connect with that own natural cycle that's showing up for me in order for me to reconnect with myself.
You know what might be really powerful
Mm.
is to go back to the timeline of your first time and
Oh,
do a little
yes.
vision a trance trip to that. Like do a little trip to that first time
Yeah.
and then rewrite your timeline on having done that and having
Yes.
had a lot more clarity.
Oh, I
I
so
love
love
what you're
that.
doing. Yeah, 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 do that.
Yeah, okay.
So
I will I will add that with
I
this
think I
cycle
might
that's
just
coming up.
join.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because there's something that's so sacred about it. And even as you start talking about going back to that kind of timeline and rewriting it, it wasn't sacred back then. It wasn't talked about as being a sacred kind of process or journey or anything. So, yeah, to be able to rewrite that, and for anyone that's watching to be able to rewrite that experience for yourself
yeah,
as a beautiful time of visioning.
yeah. And like having this community around you supporting you, holding
Yeah,
space. I can see all these elder ladies sitting around.
yeah,
For me, they're drumming. I don't know for you, but where we come from, it was shameful. It was not so good. It was, there was so much
Yeah.
negativity on it, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a hide this part of yourself or hide yourself because of this thing that's now showing up.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah. That's
And
beautiful
be
clarity for
careful.
me.
And be
Yes.
careful. You can get pregnant.
Yes.
Fear, fear, fear.
Yeah. And I mean, it's
Yeah.
shifted
And
so
so,
much, just in these past 20 years, 25 years, it really has shifted. So I know we're in this right kind of projection of it. So again, it's not about fighting what is, but really accepting where we were back then, but being able to pass that wisdom on to those younger parts of us to go, hey, this is also okay. And you're celebrated here. Yeah.
yeah. And I also feel it was a choice. I mean, as powerful people with this mission to really help people with this awakening, we chose this life, a
Yeah.
very tough one, with a very complicated ancestral line, with a lot of things to transmute. So it's been tough for, I think we can easily say all of us,
Yeah.
because I really feel it is that way. We chose to come here in these families, in these situations. So yeah, it's something to be grateful for. It's not something you can force. It's something you get naturally the moment you really understand it. Also, the moment you know that you can recreate anything at any time because you are already everything. You are pure
Yeah.
creative spirit and you can actually recreate your life every second.
Yeah.
So make it maybe every morning, otherwise it becomes very much. But every morning you wake up, you can recreate something. Um, Although I do believe, like how we said it earlier in this conversation, we do have a special calling. We have something we really want to do here in this life. And I like that to be your inner compass and not to go like a completely opposite direction. You're allowed. It's your life. There's free will, but it brings fulfillment in so many layers, just not only your body in your life right now, but the whole ancestral line, the
Yes.
whole line in front of you. There is much more. There's a grand scheme of things. There is, so it brings a lot of fulfillment. It's magical. The moment you really start to walk your path, it reveals itself more and more to you, but your magic starts to just, there's just like bliss in that you
Yes.
can illuminate in yourself anytime you want. It's like, wow. Dun! And
Yes.
that's the life I think we want. That's what
Yeah.
we actually, so there is something there. Yeah.
That's beautiful. And as we're on this talk about the inner compass and really allowing yourself to follow it, I know you have a new program that's starting up. Can you share with us what this new program's all about and how people can get in contact with you if they decide to join the program?
Yes, it's already starting Sunday, 1st of September. So it's a 3-month program that is my signature program, in which I am going to do is basically what I've actually been talking about. I'm gonna help you reconnect to the true self, like easily. It's gonna bomb. You're gonna have tools, ways, and help from me personally to really reconnect to your true self. So that's in place. I'm gonna give you all the teachings around the individuation process, about belief systems, about decodings and how they hold on to you, about parts, integration processes. I'm going to give all the teachings in the background. Same time, I'm going to do one-on-ones because there's a unique history in our human story, in our human trajectory. So you have a unique way of programming somewhere in you. And in these 6 one-on-ones, we're going to clear those unique, deepest blocks so that those are no longer holding you stuck or back or in
Mm,
fear. And then 9 group calls in which group conscious teams will be covered. And I'm directly connecting them to the 9 chakras that are our energies in this body. There's going to be a personalized meditation for you in there as well. So when I'm working with you, I have a very strong intuition. I see your full potential. I also see what's holding you back. There's going to be a personalized meditation that's going to really reinforce this process for
Mm.
you. And then there are going to be a lot of very powerful meditations that are going to help you reconnect, help you to make true choices, help you to define your true choices, and the whole story on how to create them into reality. So it's basically a full transformational program in 3 months that's going to change your life forever. What my ambition, when I had this vision, I saw lights bulk growing of the people joining the course, and basically this light ball energy is going to help transmute the collective fear programs. I see it this way: the more people awaken, the more we are becoming a higher frequency being, which is already who we are. Sorry to say it. Yeah, but it's important because we always think we need to do something for it, but it's a lot more letting go of what we're not, and just remembering that we are it already. I see it like that. The more people awaken, the more light we regenerate. Combined, we can co-create a totally different world. Why?
Yes.
Because we are going to help transmute all the rest.
Yeah.
Just it's like this, it's like the collective holds power over us now in a not so happy way. At times the opposite is possible as well.
Yes. Yes. It's time for
So
the pendulum
that's,
to swing.
yeah.
Awesome. And it sounds like your course is going to be, or not course, your program is going to be an excellent way of helping so many people to step into that. Now, who would you
Yeah,
say is the most ideal person that you're wanting to work with?
anyone that's ready to change,
Okay.
like anyone that's stuck and just tired and lost. You know what's the most painful thing is when you have this beautiful heart and all your programs are constantly holding you from bringing that heart into the world. It's
Mm,
painful.
yeah.
It's you lie nights awake in bed. You experience a lot of fear and stress, and you're constantly fighting to survive in a way. It's like surviving life.
Yeah.
You don't deserve that. Nobody deserves that. So the people that really, really want to change this, that and they can trust it will change. Like, and how can they reach me? Book a discovery call. We can maybe share the link of my program again.
Yeah.
Book a discovery. Let me show you how I work. Just, it's free. Let us connect. If you feel connected to me, to doing this work, let's sit and let me show you what I do, and you'll feel it. And if you have that resonance feeling, then this is for you. Yeah.
Beautiful. So I'm just going to
Yeah.
actually grab your link here and put it into the comments. This is coming from my Phantom account. So that is her website there, www.inpurelight.com. The program will be under that website as well.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
The
And what is the
discovery call
name?
can be booked.
Okay, perfect. And what is the name of the program, Ineke?
Transform your life from within.
Beautiful. How perfect.
Yeah. It's very simple, but it's so powerful. So I just want to give the power back that you already have in you. Just want to help you remind it's all there and help you clear the deepest blocks. And then in the group calls, we're going to go even deeper in the collective and ancestral parts. And then you'll have an online course teaching you everything I know. What I shared today is like a fraction of it,
Yeah,
but it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be beautiful.
wonderful.
Yeah.
And just one last question, because you've brought it up a few times, is about the ancestral lineage. So when you're working with people and what's in their true nature, how are you clearing out, or what ways have you found work best in clearing out what the ancestral nature has been? Because in my understanding, it's like if someone kind of goes a little bit off base, say in your grandmother's lineage. Okay. So maybe she shut her heart down, she disconnected from herself, whatever. And now this has now become a pattern within the family line of everyone's got their heart shut down because grandma had to, because she went through this really horrific thing. So, how are you helping people to reconnect with that ancestral, I guess, traumas or experiences to clear that within themselves or discover that within themselves now?
Yeah, good question. It's very easy. Whatever shows up that's not really realigned with truth, trust, nature, power, light, shows up in ourselves. So in my mother lineage, it was jealousy. There's a lot of jealousy there, jealousy, because there was a lack of feeling loved by mothers or by peers, or so there was an easy jealousy, and I experienced that in my teenage years quite a lot as well. So first of all, how I clear that is we clear that in ourselves, like,
Yeah.
and then in a session, what we do is we bring the ancestors that have experienced this wounding into the session. So we are not clearing it for them, but by clearing it in us, they also get the clearing.
Yeah.
And you see that. So in a session, the beautiful part of it is you see it happening and you can't imagine this. It's like you are imagining it because you're imagining it, but it's there and it's happening. It's not that you're inventing it, right?
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful because all of a sudden jealousy is out of your energy and your ancestors are really calm and happy. And that's how I work this. Again, there's no good or bad. In nature, sometimes we get some bad genes. But the thing is, if we tap into our unlimited potential, we can recreate our gene codes.
Yes.
We can recreate our DNA even. Did you know that we can create a third set of teeth if we want?
So I've
Our
heard of
heart,
that.
our heart is built to live 1,000 years.
Oh, wow.
1,000 years.
That I did not know. Wow.
Yeah. And our programs are keeping us from that. Not saying maybe 1,000 years, that's what our heart can really cope with. And our heart is the basis of everything, right?
Yeah.
But we are not even 10% of that.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
bad. Oh,
Wow.
bad. Again, there I go. You see, I also still do it. It's it's funky. It's funky. Why of all the programming?
Yeah.
So much stress and fear and energetic blocks because of it. Not letting go of those blocks is what create disease and um heart failure. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a biggie.
I
Yeah,
actually just seen a video last week where they were showing, so the heart, the way we've been taught is like it recoils in on itself and then it contracts as it's pumping, it's contracting. And the person was saying, the energy of our heart though is actually expansive, and most of us have learned to kind of contract with the heart. What the heart wants, we kind of contract in around it, we keep it safe instead of expanding it outwards and outwards and outwards. And as we do that, it actually is supposed to uh essentially create a healthier heart for you, because you're now actually using the energy as it's meant to be used. That the contraction is, it's supposed to be so much smaller than the expansiveness of actually expressing your heart.
exactly. You're
Yeah.
saying it as we are talking.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's about expressing our hearts. It's what
Yeah.
this whole thing is about.
Yes.
And it makes you feel so damn alive.
Yes.
And nothing. You're grateful for beauty, nature, for nothing. You're just grateful for life.
Yes.
And this is what our birthright. We are not meant to be struggling and suffering so much.
Yeah.
And yeah, somehow I think there is a reason why they try and keep us there. Like witches, for example. It's another beautiful story about how people that were truly connected to nature in a very deep way, they were are powerful.
Yeah.
We are powerful. We are powerful, all of us, not just witches. It's just to show you that something has been programming us with a
Yeah.
superior reason. But we are more powerful than that. We are. We can really break free from all that coding and programming. And all that power is inside of us, hiding because of the programming, but it's there. So it's time to shift the
Yes.
tide, to turn the tide. And it's not that we're gonna destroy or fight. No, we're gonna love, and it's gonna transform
Yeah.
with compassion. Yeah.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you so much, Inika, for joining me here today, for having this conversation, for sharing your gifts with everyone. I have so appreciated this.
Thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun.
Awesome. And if anyone is wanting to connect with Inika, again, her website is www.impurelight.com. And you can book a discovery call there or look at her program, sign up for her program. And yeah,
Oh,
awesome.
thank you so much. Have a beautiful day, Catherine. Thank you,
Thanks.
everybody.
Thanks. Bye bye.